Hi, hello everybody. Welcome back to the EQUIS student webinars. We are here today to discuss with ESSCA your possible employment possibilities after studies in France. We are welcome with two alumni today who are here to answer any questions should you have any. And we do have a wonderful Q&A box at the bottom of our screen there for you to place all your questions, and we will get to those at the very end of the webinar. Now, like I said, we do encourage questions throughout the whole thing, so please do place them there. And for those on Facebook, hello, we will definitely get to those as well at the end, but if you can register your interest on the link below, that'll be perfect. Okay, so Helene, over to you.
Thank you, Stavrola. So hi everyone, thank you for joining this webinar, this session. So this webinar, how the right ESSCA program leads to your international employment. So I will share my screen first. Okay. Okay, can everyone see it? Yeah. Okay. So for today's, I'm Ellen Barrett. I'm in charge of recruiting international students for ESSCA, and I'm based on the campus of Angers in France. So for today's agenda, I will start doing a presentation of ESSCA School of Management, and then I will do a focus on our postgraduate programs, so Master in Management and Master of Science. Then we will have a roundtable with our ESSCA alumni, Chloe and Jose Maria. And at the end, we'll have a question and answer session. So please, you can write some notes during this webinar. And if you want to ask all the questions coming to mind, then you can ask a question at the end of this session. Okay, so let's start. So some facts about ESSCA. So ESSCA was created in 1909 in Angers. So it's a fully recognized school with fully recognized programs. ESSCA also belongs to the 1% of the business school in the world who hold the prestigious triple crown accreditation. So AACSB, EQUIS, and AMBA. So it means that the school has to comply to important standards so that the student will get quality education and valuable degree at the end of the studies. ESSCA is ranked yearly in the best national and international rankings, such as the Financial Times. It has 9 campuses in 3 countries, so in France, Hungary, China, and soon in Spain and in Luxembourg. So we have 600 permanent faculty members. We have 7,500 students from more than 50 countries. And we also have a very strong alumni network in the world with 18,000 alumni. And also we work with 2,500 partner companies in which you can do your internship, for example, during your studies or work after graduation at ESSCA. So here, more information about our campuses. So we have 6 campuses in France, so in Angers, in Paris, Strasbourg, Lyon, Bordeaux, Aix-en-Provence, but also abroad in Budapest and in Shanghai. So you have plenty of choice regarding the campus location. If you're more familiar with one region or another, campus if you like. As I say, we will open a new campus in Spain and in Luxembourg. Then what else can I say about ESSCA? So we have postgraduate programs fully taught in English in all our campuses. We have a network of more than 270 partner universities in 56 countries worldwide. So you can also have the options to do a master dual degree at ESSCA. And every year, more than 1,000 students participate in our exchange programs. And we also welcome 1,000 international students from 50 countries every year at ESSCA, all the programs included. So now I will give the floor to my colleague Anne about the employability at ESSCA.
Yes, hi. So my name is Anne. I am responsible for international corporate relations and careers. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the employability after you have finished your studies with ESSCA. So according the graduate job survey that we did in 2022, ESSCA graduates find employment quickly and successfully. 81% of graduates signed a contract before the end of their studies. 93% were recruited in less than 4 months after graduation. 93% are satisfied that their first contract matches their professional goals. And 91% were recruited by the company they actually wanted to work for.
So now let's jump into our postgraduate program portfolio. So we have 2 different types of postgraduate programs. So first we have the Master in Management, which is a 2-year program offering different specialization, including management, finance, marketing, for example. Program can be available in English or French. Depending on the specialization of the Master in Management, you can study in different campuses. And then we have our Master of Science, the MSCs. So we have a different wide range of MSCs covering specific fields like, for example, international finance, digital and big data for value, international luxury marketing, international and sustainable management, global business management. For example, if you do not have a background in management related subjects, this is an option for you. And also we have 2 MSCs based in Shanghai, EU Asia Luxury Marketing and EU Asia Digital Marketing and Business. So our MSc program, so it's a 1-year program. They're all available in English language. So most of our MSCs are available on our Paris campus. And yeah, so that's about our postgraduate programs. So if you're interested in a specific field, so you can be sure you will find an MSc that will suit your interest. Okay, so now just one slide about the application procedure and the timeline. So if you're decided on the program you want to apply for at ESSCA, so keep in mind that the deadline is in June 2023. And so about the requirements and the admission process, so all you need to do is to create your account on our application platform, and you also need to complete your application form and upload the following documents, which are your CV, cover letter for the chosen program, the copy of passport, copy of academic transcript, but also the last diploma that you obtained, so if you already have it. If they are not in English or French language, they will need to be translated in English or French. Also, it's optional, but you can add also recommendation letters or reference letters. You can upload up to 2 recommendation letters from academic or professional context. For example, if you did an internship or you work over the summer, you can add these reference letters. Also, if you're applying for an English track program, you will need to upload an English proficiency test score. So for most of our program, we require B2 level 1, C1 level of English minimum. Okay. And then once your application is complete, you need to submit your application by paying the application fee, which is 90 euros online. And then our admission team will review your application file. And if successful, you will be offered a 30-minute online interview with our jury. And then if if successful, you will get admitted and you will receive your admission letter by email. Okay, so that's about our application procedure. Now, just a few words about our scholarship programs and financial aid. So, for example, if you apply a music before April the 15th, you can get 10% discount on the first year of the program. So that's our early bird waiver. Then we have a scholarship program. It's a partial scholarship, but it can help you finance part of your studies at ESSCA. So depending on the program, you can apply, for example, for the Master's Excellence Scholarship, which is up to 2,500 euros. Okay, so that's about our scholarship. So for this, you don't need to do anything specific because it will be part of your application, and there will be a section if you're interested in the application, and you will have to write a few lines on why this scholarship can be beneficial for you. Okay, so that's about our scholarship program. Then we have a page on our website, international website. So if you have any doubts or you would like to speak to one student ambassador, you can reach out to them and we can have a chat on our website with them, and they will be very happy to answer all your questions about the program. Okay. So now it's time for our alumni roundtable sharing session. So now I welcome on stage Chloe, Jose Maria, and Anne. So for our roundtable.
Yeah. So, and of course, what better way of talking about how it is to study and how you can find a job and what life is like on an ESSCA campus than to talk to alumni. So we're very, very pleased to introduce you to Jose Maria and to Chloe. And we're very happy that they're here. They're very successful and young graduates. I'm going to start with Jose Maria because he's a very busy young man, fresh graduate, because for his work, he's already traveling the world and he will be off to Brazil. So he only has half an hour to spend with us. So I'll start with Jose Maria. So Jose, can you tell us about your educational background and what program and what specialization you did at ESSCA?
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Anne and Hélène. So I'm Jose Maria. I'm from Lisbon, Portugal. So I was in the French High School of Lisbon in Portugal. My dad is French, so I wanted to study in France, but I still wanted to follow an international English-speaking track. So ESSCA seemed like the good solution for that. So I studied 2 years in the campus of Angers for my first and second year of studies in the English track that ESSCA offered. I was actually the first year that ESSCA was offering an English track. So it was really, really nice. And now it's something that they really developed even more than when I was studying there 6 years ago. Afterwards, I went to Tokyo through an exchange that ESSCA offered me to go to. I actually grew up in Japan too, so for me, Tokyo was the natural choice, but ESSCA allowed me to go study to one of the universities I wanted to study in the most, which is Sophia University in Tokyo. So I was very happy to spend a year there. And then I wanted to continue in Asia. I was really passionate about one side, everything linked to client experience and luxury industries and I would say brand elevation. And on the other side, I wanted to explore the fact that I really understood Asia well, even if I only understood Japan. So that was not the whole continent. So I wanted to understand more Asia. And so ESSCA presented to me a Master of Science on EU Asia luxury marketing. And so I spent 2 years in China. So first for my first year of master's, and then for the Master of Science in China too. So that's a bit of my curriculum at ESSCA, which led me to where I'm now.
Yeah, so coming to that, what is your current position and how did ESSCA prepare you for your career?
So right now I am part of the commercial direction for LVMH brand called Bulgari. So it's an Italian brand, jewelry and watchmaking brand. So it's an Italian house, part of the LVMH group, and I work for the commercial direction for France, Belgium, Monaco. So my job is I'm in charge of the retail training, I would say the corporate training of all our client advisors through the 13 stores I manage, but I'm also in charge of the client experience and all the retail projects. So everything linked to clients, products, and all the projects regarding the different stores we have, I manage it. So it's really, I would say it's HR mixed with marketing, mixed with training, mixed with development, mixed with products. It's really, really wide. I love what I do because as Anne was saying earlier, I travel a lot for my job. So first, because I manage different stores throughout France, Belgium, Monaco. Also, the headquarters are in Switzerland and in Italy. So I have to go to Switzerland and to Italy every month. And then I also am regularly in charge of projects and events and even businesses around the world. So for example, in Brazil this week, but perhaps in 2 weeks, I might have to go to Dubai, and maybe like next month, I will have to go to Hong Kong. It really depends on what I have to do, which client advisors I'm training, coaching, which clients, I would say client interactions I want to focus on. So it's really, really nice. And I think that ESSCA prepared me well because the master was really, really focused on EU, Asia, luxury marketing. I already did internships on marketing because something I like with ESSCA is that they have us do internships every year. And for the last year, so the MSc programs, we have 6 months where we have to do a final internship, and we are coached and trained to get that internship with HR people, with people from the companies that are going to train us on our resumes, on how we apply, even our cover letters. And so I did a lot of internships before ESSCA and before I joined the Master of Science. So I was already on that path. But ESSCA prepared me well because they enlarged a bit the sense I had about the jewelry, the luxury industries. So when we think about luxury industries, we usually, and especially here in Paris, we think a lot, and we tend to think a lot about fashion. And ESSCA showed me that no, luxury is also jewelry, it's also watches, it's also cars, it's also spirits and wine, it's also real estate, it's also traveling. So I enriched a lot my general knowledge and my luxury culture thanks to ESSCA, both through the Western European scope and the Asian scope. And so that's why I got a job at Chanel for managing fine jewelry at Chanel for a year. And then now I'm at Bulgari working this position, which is, it's really, really cool. And I think part of it, of course, is thanks to the choices that I did, and also the advice and the following that ESSCA has always offered me.
Wow, very impressive. Okay, so can you, because I had some more questions, but actually you already answered them. Can you tell us something about campus life? I know that you've been on different campuses.
I did.
Were there any extracurricular activities that you were part of, and what did you gain from them?
Absolutely. So my first years, I was in Angers, which is the main campus of ESSCA. It's a really, really nice campus because everything happens there. There's tons of associations, tons of student groups. I was in a bunch of them. I was part of the sailing team. I was part of the Winter Sports Association. I was part of the Theater Association. I was part of an association that also volunteers to help kids in schools from like complicated areas in Angers and like give them support, etc. So there's everything. There's associations for sports, associations for culture, associations for arts, associations for volunteering. There's really anything. And I mean, the common thing between all of them is really the fact that you are in an association, yes, because it's your passion and because you want to do something extra, but it also because you want to meet people, you want to make new friends, and you want to be around people that share the same interests as you. So for that, ESSCA is great because you can feel lost when you go to a new university, where you go to a new campus and you don't know much people. And me coming from Portugal, I was not in my country, even if I'm half French. For me, France was a foreign concept. It was, so I wanted to be able to meet people in a more, let's say, user-friendly way. So that was how I did. I just got myself into a bunch of associations, and it actually worked because the people that were there shared common interests. And then honestly, the first times you go to an association, it's just like chatting, meeting people, going out, linking, having friends, networking, etc. And sometimes today I even meet people, I don't know, like in Paris in some bar or at some company or at some meeting. I'm like, hey, you're that girl that was 1 year below me, that you were in the same association. We organized this event together. No. And it's like a thing that links us, so that's really fun. Later on, when I was in China, we had no associations because the campus was quite small still. But we had a lot of like groups that managed our, I would say, our nightlife in China. And for the campus was, it was a really small campus. They changed the year after I was gone, before closing again for COVID. So I think they're going to reopen something big this year. And then, of course, I did my last campus was in Paris. So for my MSc, because I couldn't go back to China to finish it. So I was both in the ESSCA campus in Boulogne. That is a very, very big campus with a lot of students. A lot is going on. They have a lot of associations too. There's a lot of societies and support groups, even for foreign students, which is really nice because there's more foreign students in the Paris campus than in the Angers campus. And in the Angers campus, they're very centralized with like the Angers city. While here in Paris, they're more left alone by the city because there's so many foreign people in Paris. So there's some kind of a following made from the campus of Paris to the foreign students. As for me, I was already I got along already very well with the people I was doing my master's with because most of them were with me in China before. So it was not a necessity, but I know it exists. And then I was also in the campus of EFAP, which is the school which ESSCA has a shared MBA agreement with for the MSc on luxury. And so I saw those two realities that are completely different. Both schools are super, super different from each other. So it's also nice to have like two different influences of schools that teach you different things. So I really liked it.
So thank you so much. To conclude, do you have any tips or advice that you would want to give someone who wants to apply at ESSCA?
So for someone who would apply to ESSCA, I think that ESSCA is a school where the corporate world has a very, very huge meaning. It's a school, of course, it's going to teach you a lot about the academics and the theory, but I think it's a school that makes you focus since year one, even if you join in year 5. It's going to make you understand how important it is for business students to talk about business, to enjoy business, to focus on business, to, let's say, look towards and look into what's happening in the business world. They are really going to make you find internships. They're going to coach you about that. They're going to advise you on what kind of internships would fit you better, would suit you better, so that once you leave ESSCA, you're ready for the job market. And I think any student that wants to go to a school like ESSCA, which is a business school, which is very close to the corporate world, and which trains as well for the corporate world too, should really take advantage of everything that ESSCA has to offer in terms of training for that. So do not hesitate to reach out to the people from ESSCA in charge of the corporate relations. Do not hesitate to reach out to the master's directors or to people that come from the HR departments of big, so in my case, big luxury companies that would come to us in class and would coach us about our pitches and our interviews. They have a lot to offer. It's up for the student. It's up to the student also to decide to which extent we're going to use that or not. In my opinion, you should use everything that ESSCA has to offer you because they want you to succeed. I saw that in my case. They're very flexible and it's really a one-to-one approach. So that's what I like, because I was a bit of an atypical profile with all the countries I was in and all the different orientations I wanted my studies to go to. So that's an advice I would give to any person applying to ESSCA. Then really for the application, I would say just give it all you have. Maybe talk about the plans you have already. If you have some plans for the future, where you see yourself in 3 years, where you see yourself in 5 years, what kind of career path you want to follow. Do you see yourself working in the same branch, or do you see yourself just switching places a lot or evolving in different positions that are very, very different from one another? Is there something that really, really motivates you already, or that you've been thinking of for 3 years? Like, let's say, is it working more towards client-centric jobs or more towards product-centric jobs, or more towards, I don't know, even something that is not corporate, like, I don't know, working for the state or something like that? But at least you have to have a plan, because first of all, ESSCA will assess if your plan, if ESSCA can add something to your plan and what's the X factor you bring to ESSCA with that plan of career that you have. But also, when you get out of ESSCA, the recruiters will kind of try to see if the whole plan you set up and if ESSCA adds up to it and if everything is coherent and if everything makes sense. And for a recruiter, they will recruit you if they see that you're a sign of peace of mind for them. Because like if they see that you're super organized and focused and you already know where you're going, for a recruiter, it's going to be like, okay, this person is not going to give me any bad surprise, so I'm going to hire him. So it's really the advice I have.
Thank you so much, Jose Maria, for this
You're
very
welcome,
complete testimonial. Thank you so much, and have a safe trip.
Thank you so much. I will say bye to you.
Bye.
And have a great
Bye.
night.
Okay, so over to Chloe. Chloe is in Luxembourg as we speak. Yes. So I'm going to ask you the same question. Can you tell me about your educational background? What program did you do and what specialization?
Okay, so hello everyone. I'm glad to be here. So for my part, I studied economics before ESSCA, and I joined ESSCA in 2018 actually, so not that long ago. I was in the Lyon campus, and as Jose Maria, I integrated the English track. So it was also a first year for the Lyon campus to have this class. And it was actually proposed to me after after my entry at ESSCA. It was proposed to me and to a lot of my colleagues to open this class, and it was actually a very good thing because I had my 5 years at ESSCA taught in English, and that has really helped me. So 3 years I spent in Lyon, and then I decided to specialize in finance, which for precision, I had no idea I was going to specialize in finance when I entered ESSCA. It was a surprise for me, but what I would say is that the 3 first years are really good to discover all the disciplines that ESSCA has to teach, because you can make some discoveries like I did. And so I specialized in the corporate financial management master in Angers. So my 2 master's years are spent in Angers. So it was really nice to have my 5 years spent in different campuses. I also spent my 3rd year in Erasmus in Spain. So 1 semester in Spain, and it was really a great experience. So what I really liked about ESSCA was the fact that I was able to move and to travel and to meet different people. So I would say that's it for my educational background.
And where were you in Spain?
I was in Sevilla.
Oh, nice.
It was in Andalusia, and it was also university that was in partnership with ESSCA. And it was really a great discovery. And I also was able to choose my assignments, my disciplines that I wanted to study there. And I was already able to specialize a little bit in finance already in my 3rd year. So that was also a great liberty that I could take.
Great. So can you tell us about your current position and how did ESSCA prepare you to get to where you are today?
Yes, so actually I'm currently a financial auditor at a BDO, which is a cabinet of audits and finance advisory. It's actually the Big 5. It's a cabinet that is the 5th largest in the world after the known Big 4 like Deloitte, KPMG, Price, etc. And I was actually hired next to my following my internship that I did in the same company in my Master 1. So I'm now in Master 2 at ESSCA, but already able to work as a full-time contract because I'm basically replacing my final year internship with my contract because I had a great opportunity that was proposed to me following my Master 1 internship. And ESSCA was very flexible to allow me to directly dive into the real work environment, which I'm very grateful for. And I currently work as an auditor for private equity funds. So everything that is related to alternative investment funds, I do private equity, venture capital, fund of funds, which is also very in line with my master in corporate financial management, which I very like.
Wow, impressive. And what sort of career services has ESSCA offered you?
So first of all, I have to say from the very beginning, I like Jose Maria said, we were trained very early with internships, which really allowed us to explore a little bit the corporate world and to have a global understanding from our first year at ESSCA. And through the years, we could specialize in internships that we lacked a little bit more because we were able to discover so much through ESSCA. But there was also other career services like there was a lot of workshops with professional HRs that helped us develop our professional career projects. And this is actually a workshop that really helped me. And this is why I am here today, actually, as an auditor, because we had basically individual sessions with HRs. I mean, individual or very small group sessions, like 3-person with professional HRs to help us see a little bit clearer about where we like our current skills and abilities and where we wanted to go. And it was actually made to be tailored to our own journeys. And it was actually after discussing with HR intervenant that I really considered doing audits as a Master 1 internship because he actually helped me see a little bit more who I am. And today I really enjoy it because audit is very complete, is a complete function with a client relationship, teamwork, a lot of also financial and I don't know, it's a very satisfying job to fulfill. And the HR assistant that I talked with actually saw that it was a very fulfilling function for me. And I don't regret it trying, to follow his advice. So I would say for me that was very like the tailoring of my professional career plan that really got me to see very clearly what I wanted to do, because I've always been very, I don't know, like lost about that.
Yeah, which is understandable, you know, at a young age. I mean, I didn't know at 20 what I wanted to do, and but it's great that so he saw that there was a right fit there. So yeah, cool. Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about campus life? So you studied in Lyon, but you also studied in Angers. Any extracurricular activities that you were involved in?
So as Jose Maria said, there were a lot of association at ESSCA, which was very, very good. And I would say overall, the atmosphere is very, very friendly. Like everyone is just here to learn and to have fun. So it's really a nice environment to learn in. I would say there are like the student life is very active. There are lots of activities organized. and a lot of parties also, which is very good because this is how you get to meet people. And there is a good cohesion between even like the different years at ESSCA. You can be friends with like a third year when you're first year, like everything is very smooth, I would say. So I would say for my, in my 5 years, I really enjoyed a lot of the parties, but also when I was in the Angers campus, I was able to join the buddy program, which is basically a program organized by ESSCA to welcome the international students in our campus. So basically you are assigned to international students, and your job is to welcome him, to make sure that he has a smooth integration, to explain him a little bit about ESSCA, about the functioning. And it's really nice because they really take into consideration when doing this when assigning you to someone, they take into consideration your languages and also the language you want to improve. So for my part, it was Spanish. And it also is a great opportunity to make friends with international people that you wouldn't otherwise be able to meet. And the buddy program, yes, it's a way to meet a lot of, to make a good base group of international friends, which is very good.
Super, thank you. And to conclude, do you have any tips or advice that you would want to give to someone who wants to apply at ESSCA?
Yes, so I think Jose Maria said it very well, but you really have to take in as much as you can from everything, because there are a lot of professional lectures. They're really here to teach you about the real job, the real life, and it's very interesting. And you should, I don't know, try to be all ears and to even try to stay in touch with them, because you never know. Like ESSCA is also a lot about networking. You should keep in touch with your colleagues, with your teachers, everything the school has to offer. And you should really, I don't know, like take the opportunity to develop your career plan, because you're very, like ESSCA is very structured. And like, yes, there are lectures and theories, but you're also here to diving into the professional world. And for me, like the transition was very smooth. So I really encourage people and future students to take that into account and to enjoy as much as you can also.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chloe. And exactly what Chloe is saying, for your information, we have around 20,000 alumni all over the world. And that is also a very, it's a huge network that can also help you to further your career, basically. So, okay, well, thank you so much, Chloe. Thank you so much, Jose Maria, who's already left us. I think I'm gonna move to you, Helene, since I'm still asking questions here. Just with some questions for you on admission, as you are a recruitment officer at ESSCA. So what criteria will the ESSCA admission team look at?
Yes, of course, we will look at your academic results, because you will have to provide us with your academic transcripts. We will look also at qualitative elements, like, for example, professional experience, very important. If you did internships, we're very happy to know about it. Also, international outlook, if you travel, if you can speak different languages. This is.
Sorry, Helen, I think you need to put your microphone a bit closer to your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it better now?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. So as I was saying, what is very important is also professional experience, internships, international outlook. If you travel, if you learn other languages, these are things that we really want to know about you in your applications. Also, during your interview, we will evaluate your communication skills, do some critical thinking, knowledge about the ESSCA and about the program you applied for. And Also, what is really important is to know your professional project, especially when you apply for a master's degree, and how it is related to the program and how it will help you to achieve your goal. Yeah, that, and after the English level, so it's very important and will be valid during the interview.
Okay, and what supporting documents do you need to provide to apply for ESSCA programs?
Yeah, so as I mentioned in the presentation, so the supporting documents will be the CV, the cover letter for the chosen program. So don't hesitate to put as much detail as possible. It's very important to know who you are and what you want. A copy of passport, obviously, a copy of transcripts, and also a copy of the last diploma obtained. Also, it's optional, but you can add reference letters. And also, if you're applying for the English track program, you will need to upload an English proficiency test. So we accept, for example, IELTS, TOEFL, TOEIC, Cambridge, Duolingo as well.
Okay, and after submitting an application, what can I expect? When can I expect the results, the feedback, and what are the next steps?
So after your admission interview, you can expect to receive feedback from us within 10 working days. So it will be an admission result by email. And yeah, yes, that's it.
Okay. How, as a student, can I prepare myself best for the admission interview?
So yes, I would say be prepared to introduce yourself in a couple of minutes. That's very important. To explain your academic background and achievements, why you want to join this program, and how the program will help you achieve your professional objective. So you will have time to introduce yourself during the interview, answer the jury's question, and also ask any questions you have during the interview. That's very important.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I'm not sure if there's any time for questions from the participants, maybe for Chloe or for Helen or for me.
Yes, there are quite a few questions. Thank you guys for the presentation. That was brilliant. Lots of valuable information there. So okay, I'm going to kick off the first question. I think we have kind of gone through this already, but it's asking for more on the application process and visa requirements.
So so for the requirements, I think the admission criteria, for example, maybe. So if I speak about our two programs for the Master in Management, so we will require a 3-year undergraduate degree, like a bachelor degree, or 180 ECTS credits, plus a B2 level of English. But if you're applying for one of our MSc program, the admission criteria will be to have a 4-year undergraduate degree or 240 ECTS credits and at least a B2 level of English language.
Right, and do you accept Duolingo for English language?
Duolingo, the test? Yes, we do accept it.
Right, and can you let the students know how high a score they need?
For Duolingo, I think it's 105. For the IELTS, if I'm not mistaken, it's 6.5, equivalent to B2, in between B2 level.
Perfect. Okay, next question. Can I stay to work there or during my studies? How many hours would I be allowed?
Yes, so with a student visa, you're entitled to work in France during your studies. That's possible. But there's a limited hours. I think it's 20 hours per week that you can work, during your studies.
Thank you. And I think this one could go to Chloe. Thank you for the opportunity, it says. And how is the cost of living there? Is it difficult? And do I need to learn French?
So I would say it depends on the city. I guess in Paris would be the most expensive option, kind of. But you always have, normally you have help from the government. So you can I don't really know how it works for international students, but I think you can have aids for to pay your rent monthly, and you should maybe check with the government website. But I would say in Angers, for example, it was pretty, like the prices were pretty decent for French city to live in. So, for example, that was very manageable.
Awesome, thank you. And a little question here about mingling. Will you be able to mingle and meet new employers? What would you say makes you stand out?
I didn't really get the question.
Oh, I think it's asking about potential to meet new employers at ESSCA and how to make yourself stand out from a crowd.
I can answer if you want. So I participated, for example, to several professional encounters on ESSCA campuses that are also organized on a yearly basis. For example, audit meetings. So where we, like ESSCA receives several companies like the Big Four, typically, and also smaller cabinets, where you are here to have individual encounters with them, to ask them questions and to directly apply with them. So I would say to stand out, you should be prepared because this is still professional encounter. Even if they're here to discuss, it's always great to take as much opportunities as you can, but you can also try to also make contacts to keep in touch for later.
Yeah, and if I can complete the answer of Chloe, you know, finding an internship or finding a job or even getting admitted to ESSCA, it's a lot to do about preparation. It's all about preparation. So that can go, of course, you will be guided, you know, for your professional project at ESSCA. There will be career workshops. There will be help on how to create a CV, how to prepare for your interviews. But it's also a little bit up to you. Life is what you make it, and that's also when it comes to your career. So you could think of talking to alumni, you know, asking questions. Okay, Chloe, I know that you work in audit. It's something that I am very, very interested in. Do you have any tips? So it's a lot to do about preparation as well.
Agreed, thank you. That leads me on to the next question. Is it difficult to get work after my studies in France? Maybe Chloe, would you be able to answer that? How did you find the work process?
So I'm actually working in Anyway, I'm actually working in Luxembourg right now, so it's very close to France, I would say, the functioning. But I would say I don't really know, again, how it works for international students, but normally, like, I mean, the objective of ESSCA is also to have a job before the end of your studies or right at the end. So the idea is always to think about the next step. Like, for example, if you want to realize an internship, you shouldn't think about, is it what you really want to do? Because you could actually have a direct transition. Like your internship can easily transform as a work contract. And it's actually a lot. It's very often the case. And this is what we students are aiming to do. I think that would be the easiest transition. But I would say after ESSCA, you can pretty much, like, you won't encounter any difficulties to find employment.
Great, awesome. And can I ask, are all courses in person now or online?
So I would say the courses are now mainly in class, so on the campuses, on site.
Perfect. And someone is asking about the buddy program. Is there a link that they can join for this, or is this only when you join ESSCA?
Yes, so personally, I received by internal communication by ESSCA. It's a program that is proposed to ESSCA students.
Okay, and a question about accommodation. Please let me know how easy it is to find accommodation, and is it a friendly environment?
So I think it depends on the city campuses. I was in Lyon and Angers, but I think it's easier if you join maybe student groups on Facebook or even ESSCA groups that exist also. And yeah, you should maybe ask and communicate. And there are also websites on French renting for accommodations. For example, Le Bon Coin would be one that is very practical for French people, and also maybe try agencies. But I think it's easy, like, yes, mainly on Facebook groups. I think for my case, that was very effective.
Okay, amazing. And there is someone asking how to choose the right course for me at ESSCA. How did you decide to choose your course, Chloe?
So for my part, I was actually, when I entered ESSCA, like I was a bit mixed about my professional plan, but I mean, that's okay because you're also here to discover yourself. For my part, it was very linked to the like all the different disciplines that we were involved in our three first years. Sorry, I basically were able to discover a lot, and I didn't really know finance before. I mean, I studied economics, but I wasn't very familiar with the world of finance, and I had several finance disciplines. And I remember that in my second year, actually, I discovered financial analytics, which was very interesting to me. And that was when I became appealed by finance. So I would say overall, when you're in your three first years, take opportunity to discover like the global scope of what is offered to you by ESSCA, and you will find out soon enough which disciplines you prefer, I think.
Perfect. And the last question.
Sorry, to add to that, I think you should also make use of doing different internships. So if you're a little bit, I'm not so sure about what way you want to go, then use, as Chloe was saying, the 3 years to do maybe, different internships to see, and you will find out very quickly whether it's for you or not. So, and again, also by talking to maybe fellow students or alumni, or to find out, we call them informational interviews, to find out what is, for example, Chloe's day-to-day job. What does it really entail?
Awesome. And the last question, as we draw to a close, is do I need to interview in person? I think this is for the application process, or can I do this from my hometown?
Yeah, about the interview, so it's all online. So we will send you link for you to log in onto the Teams meeting, and everything will be online for the admission interview. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for the questions, and thank you for your answers. That's been brilliant. Everybody who is watching on Facebook or on demand, we will be in touch very soon with some information on more to do with ESSCA. And if you do have any questions, feel free to send them through to us and we will forward them over to the team at ESSCA. Any last words, guys?
Well, thank you very much for having us.
No problem. All right. Well, listen, have a good evening or afternoon, wherever you guys are, and we will hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.